Welcome back guys, Sunil this side from Forever PT. In today's video, I'll be sharing my exam experience. So recently on 2nd January, I appeared for PTE academic exam and I scored perfect 90 marks. The reason why I took this exam is because lately I've made some changes in essay writing template. There were a few changes in summarize group discussion and describe image as well. So I wanted to test out all these things. So I booked my exam for 2nd of January and got perfect 90 in all the modules. Now, I'm going to list out all the strategies that I used, all the templates and structures that I used for essay writing, summarize group discussion, describe image. But before we move on to that part, let me first show you my scores on the official site. So here we are on pearsonpt.com. Let me just log in. So this is the score report of my recent exam. Let's hit this My Activity tab. And this is the exam that I gave on 2nd of January 2026. But before showing you this one, let me show you my previous scores as well. This one I took on 7th of August and this one is exactly 1 year before that, 15th of January 2025. Let me show you the scores as well. So I scored perfect 90 in that one also. It was 15th of January 2025 and this one I gave on 7th August last year when the changes were made. Again, it's perfect 90 and this is the most recent one. Again, it's perfect 90. Let me just show you the PDF as well. So yeah, this is the PDF. It's 2nd January 2026. Now, let's talk about the strategies, the templates and the structures that I used in my exam. We will start with the writing module first. So in my exam, I got 2 summarize written text and 1 essay writing. And summarize written text, they were pretty normal. I wrote somewhere around 60 words in both of them. And I used very simple structure. I picked few lines from the passage. I scanned the passage and picked few important lines. But I made sure that whenever I'm connecting them, I'm using a logical connector. For example, if there are 2 opposing lines, then I used but. If they were talking about similar information, then I used and. Let me show you with one example as well. For example, if you notice this question, so I combined them in this way. I used line number 1 and then I used one more connector and then I wrote one more line, let's say from here till here, and then I combined the third line with connector so, and then I used this line. But I made sure that whatever connector I'm using, for example, I used and or so, let's say, I made sure that these connectors were logically placed there. Because if somebody is reading your answer and they realize that the connectors that you are using, they're not making any sense, then they may flag your answer. So just make sure whatever connectors, whatever linkers you are using, they are logically placed there. Also, in the second step, what I did, I added 5 to 7 synonyms in both of these. Synonyms, like you can make synonyms of simple words. You don't have to, pick difficult nouns. For example, let's say if they're talking about energy, then you can write power. And if they're saying intimately, then you can say closely. If it's written major, then you can talk about significant. You can rewrite it as significant. So just add 5 to 7 synonyms and you're good to go. Make sure whatever lines you are using, you are connecting them in a logical manner. These two are the only requirements for summarize written text. If you got a normal passage, make sure to write at least 50 to 60 words so that your content is sufficient. Now let's talk about essay writing. So in essay writing, I used this template and this template is valid for all types of essays. Recently, 2 of my students got 9 band using the same template. They were pretty normal students. They were pretty average and one of them scored 89, the other one scored 90. They both needed somewhere around 60 to 65 marks, but their writing score was quite high. So in my real exam, the question was based on whether I agree or disagree with the given question. I wrote an agreement with the given statement and in the initial line, the first line, I just rewrote whatever the question was there. Then I gave one thesis statement that I agree with the given statement and I will provide more justification in the upcoming paragraph. Then in body paragraph 1 and 2, I just added more points that why I agree with the given topic. I added some supporting statements and then I concluded with the 4th paragraph. So in my exam, I wrote somewhere around 240 words. The minimum that you need to write is 200 words and the upper limit is 300 words. If your answer is anywhere between this, you are good to go. You can submit your answer. If you have written correctly related to the topic that's being asked, you will get full points. Some students, they worry about grammar part. See, even if you're targeting 8 band, you can still make grammatical mistake and get above 88 marks in right. So don't worry about the grammatical mistakes. Just take care of the spellings. And if you're making grammatical mistakes related to articles or some journal mistakes related to punctuation, so don't worry about them. Now let's move on to reading module. So in reading, I got 25 minutes. and I spent the first 13 minutes on drop down blanks. I just wanted to be sure that whatever I'm doing in drop down blanks is correct, because these question types, they carry a huge weightage, especially in reading module. So I devoted maximum time on these. And after finishing drop down blanks, I quickly move on to multiple choice questions. So there were two multiple choice questions, multiple answer. The first one, I read the whole paragraph and gave an actual answer. But in second question, I only selected one option because of the shortage of time. And this is what I recommend to my students as well, that in multiple choice questions, you don't have to read the entire paragraph. Just mark one answer. Don't worry about the correctness. Even if you are targeting 8 band, see, in reading, if you get 70 marks, you are still on 8 band. So there is a margin of 20 points basically. And these multiple choice questions, they will simply waste your time. So no need to spend too much time on this. Simply mark one option and move on to the next question. And after MCQs, I got reorder paragraphs. So there were two questions. The first one was easy, but the second one was little difficult. So I'm not sure about that. But since I scored 90 marks in reading, so I think I may have received a few marks in that one as well. And after finishing reorder paragraph, I quickly moved on to drag and drop blanks. I got 4 questions based on drop down blanks, and I still remember there were about 7 minutes left on the timer. I quickly marked drag and drop blanks. They were pretty easy. Then I moved on to multiple choice questions. The first question, I got 2 MCQs, single answer. The first one, I was solving the first one. I read the entire paragraph. I gave an accurate answer. But when I moved on to the second multiple choice question, time ran out and I had to shift on to the listening section. So that's all about the reading part. So in listening module, I got one question based on summarized spoken text. And this is the exact same template that I used in my exam. I wrote somewhere around 66 words in summarized spoken. I made sure that I'm using phrases in my exam. I connected those phrases with connectors like and but. Also, I used linking words like these, furthermore, additionally, and finally. So the word limit is 50 to 70 words. Anywhere between this word limit is fine. I wrote 66 words. You can even write 50 words or 60 words. If you're writing relevant content, your answer will be fine. After finishing summarized spoken text, I got few multiple choice questions. I didn't pay much attention to those. I just marked them, whatever option I think is correct, I simply marked them. After that, I got 2 listening fill in the blanks and 2 highlight incorrect words. They were pretty normal. And I got 3 right from dictation. And in write from dictation, what I usually do is I usually take notes using the initial letter strategy. I first listen to the sentence and note down the initials. Then I revise it 2 times. After that, I transfer it and add extra words. I added somewhere around 5 to 6 extra words in all the dictations. So that's all about listening part. Now let's talk about the speaking part. So in speaking section, the first question type was read aloud. I got 6 questions based on read aloud. In 3 of those questions, I read the entire paragraph, and in 3, I used one line strategy. So one line is still working even in 2026. Then in repeat sentences, I listen to whatever I can. I got almost 10 to 12 questions. I don't exactly remember the number, but in most of them, I was able to capture the sentences. They were pretty normal. I think maybe in 1 or 2, I missed few words. Maybe in 1 or 2, but the rest were pretty normal. I picked the entire sentence. I repeated them after the beep sound. I made sure that I'm fluent whenever I'm speaking. Then in describe image and retell lecture, let me show you the structures that I used in describe image first. So a few weeks ago, I uploaded one video as well. And this is the structure that I shared in that video. I used the exact same structure. I mentioned the title and the graph type. Then if there was some comparison between the 2 axes, I made that comparison. Then I talked about whatever the highest and the lowest things were in the graph. I made sure that I elaborate them. Then few data points, some important data points like what is similar, what is double or triple in the graph. Also, you can talk about the trend, whether it's increasing, decreasing, or it's fluctuating, or if it's constant. I've already uploaded one video regarding this, and I used this exact same structure in my exam for describe image. I didn't get any image or map based questions. I only got graphs, and this is the same structure that I used in all of them. Now, in retell lecture and in summarized group discussion, Let me share you another structure. So this is the structure that I'm suggesting my students to use for 8 band in case of speaking module. What I did this time, I took the notes and summarized group discussion for speaker 1, speaker 2 and speaker 3 separately. I didn't mix them. I make sure that I write relevant content. I listen to the answers carefully and then I used this simple structure. I combined all the phrases. I made sure that I use lengthy phrases in my answer. That's very important. And yeah, this is the structure that you guys can use if you're targeting 8 band or higher. And retail lecture is also pretty similar. You can mention that the speaker talked about this, he mentioned that, he also talked about this. So this is the exact same structure you can use for retail lecture. You can modify it a little bit according to your requirement. But yeah, what is important in summarized group discussion and retail lecture is just make sure you actually listen to whatever they're saying. That way you will be able to combine phrases and make lengthy sentences. What a lot of students do is they simply combine some small phrases, and that is the reason why their answers got flagged in the real exam. So make sure you combine phrases and make some lengthy sentences as well in your answer. And for respond to a situation, I used this template. I've already shared this template on YouTube as well. So there are 5 to 6 lines. In the initial line, you can talk about the person to whom you're addressing. And then in line number 1 and 2, you can use phrases from the given question. Then in line number 3 and 4, you can add some phrases on your own in line number 3 and 4. And finally, you can conclude by saying looking forward to your response. Just make sure you spoke for more than 20 seconds, 20 or 30 seconds. Anything above 20 seconds is fine. You can submit your answer. So that is all about the exam. Pretty soon I'll be uploading one detailed video on essay writing. You guys can watch that as well. And if you need any other assistance, you can contact us on this WhatsApp number. If you have any other doubts, you can post them in the comment box. I'll be happy to answer. Alright guys, thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.